Welcome. Thank you for being here to help hold space for a place that we can come together. The word community has a whole new meaning for me. The word unity is inside the word. And I really feel like that's what we're here to create today is unity. I heard about Japan having a tsunami today, and there is just so much pain and grief around the world. And I wanted to hold space that not just to be in the grief, but really rise from the ashes, rise from the pain, come together and show our humanity. And I think it's very important, especially more now, where it feels I felt hopeless. I felt useless in the weeks that as I was watching my hometown burn. So thank you for being here again. And this space will be open for the next 2 weeks, Monday through Friday for 2 hours. So if you or anyone you know has either been touched or affected by this devastating fire or anywhere else in the world that could use some light and hope, please invite them to this link. And if you or someone you know also wants to facilitate a healing, a prayer, or maybe just hold space to have stories of resiliency and hope and light, I welcome that. So please invite them to send me a message so that we can get you on the schedule. And again, thank you again for being here. So today, as it's 10:02 on the 13th of January, interesting that it's 13, right? The number 13. It's also the full moon today. So it's so befitting in so many ways for me anyway to be here. And I'm so grateful to see so many beautiful faces that are here joining me in holding space for love and light as well. I know a lot of you have been sending prayers already, so thank you so much for that. Thank you for doing your due diligence also and finding ways to either send a text to someone to tell them you're thinking of them or donating or volunteering, whatever you've done. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of the Angelinos here. We thank you so much. And with that said, I want to also just let people know what, again, this intention was for this space is really just a place to come together and see the light, rise above the ashes, and really come together in a place where we're not living in fear. We're not living in grief and loss. There's so much overwhelm. And I don't know, for me, it just seems surreal. I think I'm still in shock. And I don't know what this is going to unfold to look like, but I know that I wanted to do something more than I was already doing. I was sitting at dinner with my family, asking my children who are 12 and 13, my husband and I, just seeing how they're doing, getting a pulse for, what they might be feeling. And, it was beautiful to hear my children want to volunteer and want to do something. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I could do more. I feel like there's more that I can do. And so I got the inspiration to hold this space. And I know there's so many people in my community of like-minded individuals who also want to do more, who want to give back in generosity. And today I'm so excited to introduce Nick. He'll be here at 10:30. He's going to hold space for beautiful healing. This is what he does. And there are other people. I have Cynthia in here today who also wants to do a heart opening exercise today. So thank you, Cynthia, for being here and offering your beautiful heart to us. So I just wanted to, before we begin, again, just welcome everyone. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge the sacred space that we're here creating together. That this space is a love, light, and healing and community, as I said. A space where we can fully be present with our emotions, honor the experiences of those impacted by devastation, and then also offer our collective energy towards healing and hope. So each of you showing up here today is a powerful act of compassion. So thank you. Together, we are holding space for those in grief, fear, and uncertainty. We're creating a ripple of love that extends beyond this gathering. So to our communities, our nation, and the world. Let this be a space where kindness is shared freely, hearts remain open, and hope rises from the ashes. Let this be a reminder that even in the darkest times, we are never alone. Our intention is simple: to bring comfort where there is pain, to bring light where there is darkness, and to bring unity where there is division. So together we will rise, together we will heal, together we're stronger. So let's hold this intention as we begin. And so I want to just do a quick grounding meditation for us so that we can all just, wherever we are, whatever we're feeling, that we can just come together and unite our hearts and in our minds. So let's begin, everyone, by just settling in. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a slow, deep breath in. And then just gently exhale. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more present. Feel your body supported by the earth beneath your feet, steady and unshaken. Breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, release any tension or heaviness you've been carrying. Let it flow out of your body, out of your mind, and into the earth where it will be transformed. Now place your hand gently over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, reminding you that you are alive, you are here, and you are connected to every soul gathered in this moment. With your next breath, imagine a golden light radiating from your heart. This light represents your love, your compassion, your intention to heal yourself, your community, and the world. Feel that light growing stronger, filling your entire body with warmth and peace. Now see that light extending outward, connecting with every person in this gathering. Together we form a radiant web of light and hope stretching across cities, countries, and continents. Feel the power of this connection. We are stronger together. As we begin our time together, silently set an intention for this gathering. It could be a prayer for healing, for peace, or for resilience, or just simply love to flow where it is most needed. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, send that intention out into the world, trusting it will be received. And with that, we're grounded, united, and ready to heal. Thank you again for being here. I want to open this moment up to just ask if anyone in the room wants to share any words of light, resilience, or strength before we introduce Cynthia and Nicholas here today. Is anyone here that really wants to just come and share any stories or a space? Maybe we just can open a prayer. Really want this to be, thank you, Cynthia. I want this to be a space where we can all just come together and give from our love and our heart. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I in thinking about this, because I'm going to share the strengthening heart exercise, I thought poems can be a lot like prayers. So I wanted to share a poem, Whispers of the Heart. It kind of aligned with what I'm doing today. So yeah, I'd like to share this. And I know, and again, my sympathies out to everybody who's experiencing this and going through this really extremely traumatic and difficult time. So I'll just share this. It's pretty brief. Whispers of the Heart. In the silence where shadows play, whispers of the heart drift astray, carrying secrets untold and deep, in the quiet where dreams seldom sleep. Beneath the weight of 1,000 stars, we wear our burdens, our hidden scars. Yet in the twilight, a soft sigh glows, a reminder that even the darkness knows. The echoes dance in the folds of time, each heartbeat a verse, each breath a rhyme. Longing and loss weave their intricate thread, stories of love that linger, though fled. In the storm of silence where thoughts collide, a whisper of hope, the heart's faithful guide. For in every tear, there's a lesson to glean. The life's tender beauty can thrive in between. So let us gather the fragments of light and weave them together with courage and might. For in every ending, a beginning will find, a testament to the strength of the heart and the mind.
I just want to sit and resonate with that. Let's just take 5 minutes to really let that, those beautiful words in that poem envelop. And as we sit and we reflect on that, send that love and light again to the world. The whole world is grieving, not just for LA, for everything that is happening. And so one of the things that comes up for me, and I know for a lot of the people that I've talked to and spoken to, is overwhelm. And sometimes overwhelm can really prevent us from thinking clearly, from being present, from really being in a space that is healing and love and light. And so one of the things that I do that really support me when I feel overwhelmed is to do energy medicine. Mm-hmm. And so what I do is I rub my hands together. So if you guys want to do this with me, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed today. It was a little overwhelming when we went yesterday to volunteer and to make some donations. And there was just so much there when I noticed. I was just like, oh my God, it's crazy to see all the things that get donated in a crisis like this. And you don't, like, you know it in your mind, but you don't really comprehend it till you see it. And it can get overwhelming. And I wanted to say thank you so much to the Westchester YMCA for organizing such a beautiful event. It was a well-oiled machine. It just felt like everybody was there with open hearts and really wanting to make a difference. So thank you. And with that, the overwhelm kicked in for some of us. So rubbing your hands together, shaking off any excess. And there's a lot of neurovasculars on your head. So if you put your hand on your forehead and your other hand on top of your head, and then you just sit and rest there and take deep breaths in your nose and out your mouth. And doing this for 3 minutes minimum can really get that blood flowing back to the top of your head so that you can think clearly, calm your energy and your mind. And you would just sit here literally, after 1 minute, you'll start to really feel a sense of calm and clarity. And then you can change your hand positions and you can actually do that again and then put your one hand on the side of your head and then the other one on the back of your head, right opposite your eyes. So your eyes are here, so like right on the back part of your head. And you can sit there too and just, I like to do this one when I'm going to sleep because it's easy to do when I'm laying down and just kind of cuddling myself. And it really helps to calm the thoughts of the day. Because at the end of the day, we all think of the things that happened and the things that went right or wrong, usually what went wrong. And sometimes you automatically take a deep breath because that's your body's way of telling you that it's resetting, that it's balancing. And so just doing this anytime you feel overwhelmed. And so that's just a quick tip that you can do for the day and holding your head, holding your space. And if you're feeling panic or fear because you're right in the middle of something, there is a fear point that you can tap, and it's between your pinky finger and your ring finger. And it doesn't matter what side of your hand, it's depending on what dominant hand you are. You put it in your heart center and you tap there while you take deep breaths in and out. And it'll instantly, if you're in the middle of a panic or a fear, it'll instantly start to calm you down, remembering to take those deep breaths in and out. So these two things are great that we're starting this call with. In case there anybody feeling any fear or panic currently happening. Sorry, you can't see me tapping. So just tapping in there, right between here. There's like a valley. You'll feel like a valley in between the tendons. And that's where you want to tap. And I know this sounds woo-woo, and it's like, how can tapping and holding my head help with overwhelm and fear? I know it sounds woo-woo, right? But there's so much evidence out there, and I urge you to do some due diligence, because this is things that we have control over. We can do this, and we don't have to necessarily pop a pill to do that. So if anybody out there is really looking into having more holistic, natural ways of supporting your central nervous system, this is definitely something that I urge you to check out and try out. So with that said, I'm going to just hold 5 minutes space for any prayers, and just for those who have perished. I've heard that the death toll has gone up to 25. So I just want to send some prayers and healing for those families. So we're just going to take 2 minutes to be in silence and prayer. Thank you. Thank you. So in this moment, I'd like to just have Cynthia give us a space. I think she has just a few minutes of a heart opening exercise that she'd like to gift us with today. And after that, we're going to be heading into a healing exercise with Nick Perez as well. So with that, Cynthia, please take it away.
Okay. Again, hello, everybody. And so this really follows what you have already shared, Margarita, and I guess you could call it energy work as well. And I call it the strengthening heart exercise, and it is generating energy from your own body. And so like you, we're going to start to rub our hands together. And the reminder as we do any work like this is that we have within us, we have the capacity to heal ourselves. And what I wanted to share with this, we're going to be doing this for about a minute. And so what I wanted to share with this was that through the Heart Institute, or Heart Math Institute, sorry, they explain through their research that our heart has more neurons than our head, than our brain. And so our heart is really considered the first brain. And so when you're going through grief, trauma, you don't want to intellectualize this. You don't want to say why, although, because that's automatic. We're going to ask those questions anyway. But for these very traumatic moments, we can take, and I just want you to take your hands apart just for a few seconds and feel the energy that you've already generated. We'll keep going for another 30 seconds or so. And so when you're going through these very traumatic times and experiencing intense grief, we can start to heal ourselves and how we focus differently. So we want to take you can do one of two things. You can take both hands and put them on your heart, or you can take, as Margarita showed earlier, one hand on your heart, the other on your head or anywhere else you might have pain. And so I'm just going to put them both on my heart. And in these moments of overwhelm where you're not clear thinking, you can say three things. I am love, I am gratitude, I am bliss. And I know that bliss part might be hard to say, but what we want to do is increase our energy and remind ourselves that we are miracles in this world, and we can create miracles no matter the circumstance or situation that we're in. So remembering love, gratitude, and bliss. And one other thing I just wanted to share, that in my research, which is generational trauma, mental health, as well as grief, is that in North America, there was something called Indian residential school, where Native children were taken from families just because the government and the church wanted to civilize them. And this is part of my family history. I'm Soto Cree. And in my research, what I found is what helped children survive the most traumatic situations and circumstances was their imagination. And so they imagined their horses, they imagined their grandparents, they imagined their siblings, they imagined the blue skies, whatever it is. But there was lots of imagination that helped them survive years of torturous existence. And so I invite you to use your imagination in any way you can when you do the strengthening heart exercise. But this is a grounding, intentional grounding, to help you remember how magnificent you are. And even though we don't have the answers right now, we don't have to worry about the how. We just imagine what we want, how we're going to rebuild, what we want to rebuild. And using imagination is part of it. And again, just a quick recap: strengthening heart, using our energy to build our own energy within our body to heal ourselves. And in our overwhelm, remember love, gratitude, and bliss. And you can do this anytime at all, you can do it. If you feel panic, if you feel overwhelmed, if you have a hard time sleeping, I often do this at bedtime, and then I do it again when I wake up, and I make a request. I make a request of something that I want and that I love to have in my life. So I wanted to share that with you today. Okay. Hi.
What would be a request that you would like to leave with us today? That was beautiful.
For me to have a request? Oh, well, I just want to uh, expand and support what is happening here today. So we have 7 people here today. Maybe tomorrow this will double to 14 or 20. And as you've mentioned at the onset of the call, this will go on for the next 2 weeks. So my request is that as many more come in, we are generating the love, the gratitude, and the bliss to recreate the world that we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I acknowledge you and thank you so much for being here. And that was beautiful. It's a reminder how powerful we are and how we have what it takes in us to begin the healing. It's not outside of us. And the more that we can come together as a humanity and as people, we realize that we're not alone. We realize that there are other people just like us who are open and willing to really put ourselves out there in love and light. And my heart is full right now and knowing this was so last minute and there's 7 people here who are willing to show up in love and light and show up in community and show up for themselves. Because it's not just about showing up for others. I'm really here for me too. And it's a little selfish, but I was like, I need to do more. How can I do more? And I was like, there are so many people out there who are probably feeling the same way I am. And I wanted to just create a space where we can come together. So again, I'll ask you if you or anyone else you know is interested in facilitating a prayer, holding space, maybe even talking more about mental health and the importance of resiliency or stories of strength. Maybe you are evacuated and what are you doing to help you stay strong and positive? Like these are the times where we come together to really share so that we know we're not alone. And I think a lot of us, for me anyway, we go around holding our fears, wanting to just be liked and belong in the world. And what better way to show unity and belonging than coming together during these times, so that we know who to reach out to when we feel alone again. So at this time, I want to honor you for being here and also to introduce my next beautiful person who dropped everything to be here today. His name is Nick Perez. He's a Navy veteran. He's a clinical mental health student, meditation teacher, and a transformation coach. And he's spent the last year working on an integrative mental health team for crisis intervention and disaster response. He utilizes mind, body, and somatic techniques for residents and emergency responders for those affected by the 2024 hurricanes. His personal coaching is geared to reorienting people back to their own wholeness and resilience. And I'm so honored and grateful to call him a friend and to have him here today. So Nick, thank you.
Thank you, Margarita. Ed, I see another familiar face here. Hi, Jasmine. And is everyone here from LA right now? Or I know Jasmine's in Maui. Okay.
From Canada.
Canada. Okay. And if anyone can come on camera that wants to, I'd love to see you. Hi, Jasmine. Mary, you were about to speak, I think.
Yeah, I'm in Playa del Rey, right next door to Margarita. But I'm walking my dog at the moment, but it's still very beneficial.
Yeah. And Sonia? Is it Sonia or Sonia?
Hi, it's Sonia. I'm in Sherman Oaks,
Okay,
California.
nice. I lived in Carlsbad for about 6 years when I was in the Navy. So I have a lot of friends out there. And as Margarita noted, the past probably 4 or 5 months, I've been working in hurricane disaster relief. So I work for an organization called Capacity Path. As a contractor, the CEO contracts coaches, mental health workers, body workers, all those types of things. And we get in there and we employ these techniques. So what Margarita was doing at the beginning of this, I don't consider any of it woo-woo. I think it's grounded in hard science. It's called brain rebalancing, is where you're holding your head, is actually shortening the nerves, the cranial nerves, from your eyes, your ears, around your skull to your brain. And that gives your brain a moment of relief, even if it's just for 1 minute. And all the other, same with Cynthia, putting the hands on the heart, especially giving it that firm pressure, is what we would call a somatic hold. So that's just a great introduction to some of the things I'm already going to talk about and why these things work. Because the nervous system, if you were to think of your whole body, your personality, your emotions, everything, is like a house. The nervous system is the foundation of that house. And it runs from not just our brain and our spine, but all the way out to our fingers, our toes, everything. So when you press your hand, like Margarita was telling you, you're actually touching a nerve that's sending a signal to your brain that's telling it to relax. And I don't know, I know enough, but not a lot to tell you why that nerve stops a headache, but I do know it's the nervous system. So it's not just magic, it works. And what we did with hurricane survivors or first responders, Nadia here, my partner, she also worked with there, is like we got in and we 5 to 10 minutes able to reorient someone back to the resilience. And who here, like, what comes up for you when you hear resilience? Anyone?
I'll go. For me, I think resilience is just about like the ability to bounce back or to stay strong when you come up against challenges or things that are hard to do, whether it's mental or physical. Resilience is like having stamina.
Yeah. And the way I like to describe it, which I didn't come up with this is my CEO, is if helplessness was the worst feeling any of us could have, that feeling of I'm not in control, I'm a victim of a fire, a hurricane, a miscarriage, a partner, whatever, that's the worst thing we could feel. The antidote to that is choice and choosing our response. And it might seem like there's not choices, but if anyone here ever heard of Viktor Frankl in A Man's Search for Meaning, the book? Yeah. So this man was captured. He was Jewish. He was a psychologist. He's captured. He's in concentration camp. Totally no free will whatsoever. But through his story, he shows that he was able to choose hope. And it was by choosing hope and seeing beyond that he was able to get through it all. And he developed a whole system of a theory called existential theory in psychology, in which he talks about responsibility, the ability to respond to what's happening us as being one of the things that actually gets us through life. So these techniques of the nervous system are just enough to get people, yourself or a friend, because if you can ground your nervous system, you can actually modulate an entire room's nervous system if you wanted to, because we have mirror neurons. So whether I'm talking slow and I'm sitting still, or I start doing this a lot, like your nervous system's going to start reacting. So that's where we get the element of choice, is by using our bodies and getting out of the headspace, the story. We can get back into a space of groundedness, then get into choice, which then breeds resilience. Is everyone with me still so far? Okay. Because I am nervous. I just got, like Margarita said this too, and I don't want to invalidate anyone's experience either. So I totally get that this is hard. Go
We
ahead,
also
Margarita.
have Mary who's raised her hand a couple of times. Mary, is there something you want to share?
I haven't seen it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to share that my idea of resilience is when someone is, trying to gain resilience, it's sort of like trying to also lean into acquiring the capacity of helping yourself and others. And that's just kind of what I was feeling when you were sharing that, Nick.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
what I love about this work, you said a cool word, gain.
Yeah.
What I want to invite everyone to consider is that there's nothing to actually gain. Is each of you is in each person you know is inherently resilient and whole already. We just forget sometimes. And these practices that some might consider woo-woo, but others would consider science, that have been done for thousands of years and are being rebranded as somatic experience and all that are just ways that we remember that we are already resilient and whole. We have choice. And when we can choose, go from there. So what I want to go with that act of choice first, and helplessness and feeling of choice is something that I would do that I would now I offer myself after learning to give it to others is how many of you have ever been in a situation where you're like, I have nothing, there's nothing I can do, I'm completely hopeless and helpless right now. Has anyone been there? Okay. So then after a while, do you ever have like this epiphany of like, wait, I have that one friend I can call. Or I can stay the night at this person's house, even though I don't have a home right now. So that is what we would call resourcing oneself. And anytime you or someone else you know is in that state of, I don't know what I can do. So in this moment right now, that mirrors the hurricanes here, houses completely gone. So people saying, I have nowhere, I have no home. So I would ask residents who said that, I would say, so where can you stay tonight? And a lot of them would actually say, oh, I have family, I have this, I can go stay with a brother or sister. And all I would do is anchor that moment and say, that's amazing that you have a resource like that. That you have more than you thought you had. So, does anyone know anybody right now that has lost their home? What are they, Margarita, what are they experiencing? What are they telling you?
The first thing that always comes out of their mind, their mouth is really they're just grateful that they're safe and they have family and they have somewhere to go because they're not alone.
Yeah. It's amazing, right? They already did it for themselves. I'm just so happy my family's alive and I have somewhere to go. What you'll find in these disasters is someone too that's like complete, all their stuff is gone and they're already trying to help somebody else. And in disaster theory, that's called like the heroic phase, where everyone bands together and tries to help each other. But it's also a way of not feeling what one is feeling. Um, so that's a perfect example. Anyone else have anyone that's lost a home or even lost a person? Nadi, will you speak to that?
I haven't spoken to her, but I saw on her GoFundMe that she expressed that she's very tired, that they're experiencing a lot of fatigue just processing all of it, and that what was the other piece that she shared? Oh, that she's spending a lot of her energy right now doing practical tasks like rerouting her mail and stuff like that in order to just, I guess, just what you were saying, have choice. Like she can choose to reroute her mail, right? She can move from paralysis into creative action.
Yeah. And we see this in kids too. Kids that don't feel like they have choice, sometimes they exert their choice by their ability to cry or have a tantrum. That's just a child practicing their choice. So doing those tasks, those are great. Um, and you just mentioned something that can lead into this next part, which I know that I can tend to be analytical and be in my head. So bear with me on the science. It excites me to be able to ground in that information. And know that it can work. So everyone's heard about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. If you haven't, I'll just go through it real quick too. So you have sympathetic, which would be an upregulation, and parasympathetic downregulation. Sympathetic being flight or freeze, parasympathetic rest and digest. So when a disaster happens, any disaster from fires to almost getting hit by a car on your way to work, the fight or flight comes in. We get excited. We can either want to say F you and throw the middle finger, flight. We could try and swerve, that's flight, or we could just hit the brakes and go, oh my God, and that's freeze. And you're gonna have different experiences from different people. So Nadi, what would you say that person was in like their fatigue area before they started doing the tests?
Probably freeze.
And that's what we would also call stuck on off. So people that are overwhelmed, overstimulated, that can't get out of bed. We see this just like in everyday life, the anxiety, the depression, they're stuck on off. Does anyone have a friend that seems like they're doing 48,000 things in reaction to this disaster? Or even Margarita, you're putting this together. You're kind of in a sympathetic, what we would call stuck on. You're like, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help?
I think I might still be in shock, and I did sit in kind of freeze mode for 3-4 days, and then it was just like I feel so useless. I feel helpless. Like this is my city burning down. Like people I know are having to evacuate and losing their homes, and people they know. And so I was just like, there's, like I said in the beginning, it was really having that dinner and sit down and seeing the people coming together, that I was just like, there's got to be something more that I can do. And in with that choice, I got so inspired that now I feel like there's a purpose for me moving forward, and it was so empowering. And so that's why we're here today. And so
Yeah. And in that range of parasympathetic, sympathetic, on, off, there's the range of resilience and then a window of tolerance that's slightly bigger. So there's actually nothing wrong with either or. They're beneficial for different things. It's when you get stuck on for too many days and all of a sudden it's like, when did I go to the bathroom? When's the last time I ate? Have I even stretched or slept? That's where we're going beyond our window of tolerance. And the other way around is when it's like oversleeping, overeating, consuming alcohol, anything like that. We don't want to be too much in one way or the other. We want to be in a balanced place. So in a post-disaster world, there's these techniques to either up-regulate yourself if you're too far down, or down-regulate if you're too far up. And that is just the constant practice. So Margarita went from freeze, a little bit of off, to up-regulating herself. What did you do to get moving?
Put just went out there. Like I went out there, and to be honest with you, I asked God. I said, what can I do? What do the people need? What does my community need right now? And it was in that asking of being outward focused that I got this inspiration to step forward. And it really helped me from get outside of my own fear and doubt and overwhelm to really just get empowered into how can we rebuild starting now, even though we're still in it.
Yeah. Also, you did something at another workshop not too long ago when the energy was super heavy. What did you do to get it moving? You guided everybody.
Yeah, I did a grounding clearing. I meditate, I do breath work, I do visualizations. And I surround myself with people, and I make phone calls, just to feel connected. But that was what I did really, is just to kind of get grounded and in my space, and knowing that I have control.
And I'm gonna go more specific. You told everyone to shake it off. Shake it off. And why shake it off? If you ever watch a dog and they almost get hit by something or attacked by something, they bark and then they immediately shake their whole body. And this is a way of like getting their nervous system back on track, and shaking the hands, rotating the neck, rotating the wrists, rotating the spine. These are all things that help bring us back to up regulation. Another thing we hear about slow breathing, but if you're stuck in freeze, you actually need to get your breathing up. So a little bit more, if you're in the yoga community, they would call it Kalabati breathing. If you've done breath work, I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember the name right now, but it's more of like a, and you just get your body moving if you feel like you're stuck. And those are different techniques if you feel like you're in freeze, stuck on off, lethargic, fatigue, is get moving. So then you now have, again, your nervous system has a choice what to do next. If I'm assuming if someone's out of their home, they're going to be wanting to do different things to get back on track. They're going to want to be finding a new home, finding a new job, calling the insurance company, calling FEMA. They're going to want to be actively moving. So just by moving the body, they can get there. Breath of fire. Thank you, Cynthia. Does anyone have any other things that they do specifically that maybe you didn't even think of that you do intuitively that now you can add in intentionally?
I'll jump in. Thank you for the reminder that it was a shake it off. I shake it off all the time, but the way that I shake off mostly is by putting on music and dancing, or even just singing out loud, singing my own thoughts and feelings. That really helps to kind of like get out the emotion that is overwhelmingly taking over. And so dancing and just singing, those are the two things that I consistently have saved me from time to time that I just love to do.
Nadia just did one. She just stretched out her nervous
yeah.
system.
This is called pendulate. This is called penundulate. This is what cats do. They stretch out their limbs. But yeah, Margarita, I do the same thing. I love to sing my thoughts and just kind of hear my prayer in real time and put on music and be in that prayer, that devotional energy that really, really grounds me. And another thing I like to do is put on some kind of emotion-based music and go for a walk and like run or walk or just like be in some kind of move forward motion and listening to some kind of emotional type of music that will help me just almost pull out those emotions from me as I'm walking.
Yeah. So my assumption is that a fire survivor is probably not going to want to sing, but you could enroll them to make a noise of any kind. You could be like, hey, will you just breathe it out with me? Like just to move, because it's, singing is just a way of moving that energy, but you could also just let out any noise that they're experiencing instead of holding it in the body.
I know that humming is also really good for the central vagal nervous system.
Yeah, I actually lost my voice a couple nights ago. I drove to go towards the beach at like 2 a.m. watching the moon set. And I literally screamed my eyes out. I was just like, what is that? Ah! Just screamed it out. And I couldn't speak for a whole day. But I gotta tell you, man, it felt really, really releasing and like so healing in that moment. And so that's like a primal scream, going out in nature, stomping it out and just having a tantrum and just like, ah. That's what I do sometimes too. But I look crazy doing that. So I do it in private.
I'm with you, Margarita. Also, nature. I love that you brought that in. That's just putting your feet in the ground is really, really great. And hugging a tree.
Which is a perfect lead into how to downregulate now, because these are great ways to get the nervous system moving when we're stuck in that freeze. But what do you do if you can't relax at all? And Nadia, you mentioned hugging the tree. Again, that firm pressure, whether you're doing it to yourself, and Margarita, you and I talked about this the other day, but like, especially pressure around the spleen or around your kidneys, anywhere where there's a large collection of blood vessels, or the adrenaline in the kidneys, and really giving yourself that firm hold for 1 to 2 minutes is relaxing to the nervous system. And if you feel constricted, I'll squeeze myself. I'll give a very firm hold. But when you're hugging that tree, you're giving yourself a hold with an object. If you're trying to calm someone else down, I guess, it would have been useful to have a person here, but, putting just a firm hand on their neck or on their trapezius and just giving it a firm hold where you just know that you got them. Not really like massaging, because this just keeps things moving, but a firm hold here, a firm hold on their kidneys, um, holding the neck. Nadi, you like it when we were doing the rebalancing where we hold our own head, but you can hold someone's head for them and just breathe with them. And that experience will help bring their nervous system down. What she was talking about, pendulating, is another way that so this is what I do when I want to calm my nervous system down in order to calm someone else's down without telling them to calm down, because that doesn't work. Is I'll start to slowly move my body back and forth while I deep breathe and I slow my tone down. And I might even do it very imperceptibly, as I'm doing right now. And this invites their nervous system, their heart rate, their breathing rate to begin to match yours. And when I do it for myself, I can feel myself chilling out too. So it's like a gift I give my nervous system real quick. And I might even lean back. Like if I'm sitting, I can just sit directly over my pelvis. But if I'm standing, I'll really lean back onto my legs and just feel like if you're sitting right now or standing, feel how strong your pelvis and legs are and how it supports you in this moment. And how just feeling that in your body is calming. And this is the key, is we get out of the mind and back into the body. And the final one, which Nadi would be great at talking about this, is reorienting to our senses. So you think about when you're stuck in your head, but then you look out to a sunset. Touch, like Margarita's doing. Or smelling, whether it's oils, essential oils. I think I saw Jasmine folding laundry. If it's new laundry, that's just like that. Like just the feeling you get when you immerse yourself in a sense. That's a useful tool to not only give yourself, but the way I would do it with people in right out, a homeless person in a shelter. She's going on, she's like, I only have 3 shirts. And she's going, she's going, she's going. And I was like, that, I validating the emotion. And I'm like, man, isn't this sunrise in Florida still like beautiful though? And she's like, yeah, it is beautiful. And I was like, look at that backlighting on the Spanish moss. And she's like, yeah, that's really cool. And it just takes her out of that for a moment. Now she's more relaxed and more open to self-resourcing, self-choice, all that. I think I went a little faster than I would have intended. But I just wanted to give these little tools that, again, you can do this for yourself, or you invite someone in with you to help their nervous system. And you don't need to be a qualified anything to hold someone's shoulder or get them to shake with you or breathe, or just breathe and feel your own weight and invite them into that. Does anyone have any questions, comments, things that they've experienced or they've done unintentionally, but now they're like, oh, if I do that intentionally, I can actually hack my nervous system more? Jasmine, tell me.
Oh, I've been, I've been, I thought I was muted the whole time. So it's like, just in working with the nervous system, because I'm a chiropractor and I've worked with some people who've been through a lot. And so when we put hands on our body, both hands, like left the feeling hand first and then right on top of that, and you can put your hands like over your belly button and breathe, try to breathe into your belly button, really fill your belly button with air in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then like right here, like right under your right under your ribs, that area. Breathe into that area 2, 3 times, and then right over here under your throat. It helps calm the body and let the body come in. let you go and like land in your body. And when that's difficult, that's like stage one, that considered like the 12 stages of healing. When it's difficult, I have people like identify which one was the easiest one to breathe into.
Mhm.
And because they might not, usually they're not equally strong. So if there's one, let's say the belly is the easiest for you to breathe into. Okay, so let's make that home base. And when things are difficult, you go there, you go to home base. And then you can take the wisdom of home base, remember what it feels like, the ease, what's different, what's unique about breathing into that area. And then almost like it's a gift box, pick it up and move it into the other area.
Mm.
And now let's try to move let's bring the wisdom into breathing into that area. And then bring the gift into the next area. So belly tends to be related to action. Under here usually ends up being related to emotion, how we might feel. And then up here usually is more related to communicating or literally taking a breath and feeling for you. Um, and and another thing that I tell people is that when it's more difficult, that just admitting how you feel and saying what you want to say that's related to that area. And sometimes it's the most difficult thing for an alpha to say is sometimes I feel helpless, and then take a breath. Sometimes I feel scared, take a breath. Sometimes I have no idea what the fuck to do, take a breath, right? Because we're holding back what we want to say, we're holding back what we're afraid will upset somebody. And then it'll be amazing how you can reset your nervous system that way. And the other thing is just really tucking into the fetal position and letting somebody hold you real tight till you feel like a cannonball, until you feel like you're not, like a bomb didn't go off in your body, like you feel like all held close together again. And sometimes that just like somebody will just go and then slowly, take a full breath. When we can't take a full breath, we're not feeling every part of our body, we're not able to be present. So just that fighting for that first breath.
Mhm. I love that. Wow. I know for sure both Nadia and I will, like, when we're in some sort of dysregulation, we might ask the other, like, can you just lay on my back? Can you just put full pressure?
Yeah.
Like, it's like that something about that firm pressure versus like a lighter there touch is just really calming to the nervous system.
Yes. Because I noticed, like with Margarita, she helped us breathe into our bigger body. And so, because what happens is just energetically, when we feel in fear, we shrink.
Mhm.
So shrinking into letting our body shrink into the size that we feel our energy actually is. So in that fetal position, this is how big I am. And when we're in our survival, we give blood to our organs. That's it. If you lose a limb, oh well, right? But at least the organs are intact. So just acknowledging that smallness and letting yourself go ahead and feel small, curl up into some place that feels safe.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Get under the blanket if you feel safer in the blanket and you can breathe under the blanket. Get under the blanket and control what you can control. Like what I can control is when I brush my teeth, I brush my teeth with my right hand. I can control that. I brush my teeth at this time. I put my pants on my right leg first. Like I can control this. Like whatever constants you can. Today's another day, it's another morning. I'm going to count that. Here's day 1, day 2, whatever constant you can count on, especially when so much changes. Right.
Yeah.
Love that,
Bringing up the
Jasmine.
feeling.
I just wanted to share, Jasmine, thank you for giving space for us to give ourselves permission. I think a lot of the times we shrink back and wanting share that we feel hopeless or that we feel scared or that we want to cry like a little child. And so thank you for that permission. It's so important for us to really be authentic and honest with ourselves. And when we are in that space, it really does open up permission for others to do the same. And that's when healing really begins. So thank you so much for reminding me of that. Thank you.
That's actually interesting how when I'm guiding meditation for people that are dysregulated, I start where they're at too. So an example, like this Sunday, the lady I was guiding, she's like, I can't stop my thoughts. Like they're just always going. I was like, good. Let's imagine you're in the middle of your tornado of thoughts and you just get to watch them all. And she's like, now I'm angry. I was like, what is angry? You know, like we get to start where we're at rather than deny where we're at. And it's like that's a powerful choice too.
What really grounds me, thank you, Jasmine, for all those reminders. What I received from what you said was fighting for that first full breath and the wisdom of home base. Those were two things that I'm going to take forward, is like, where's my home base? I really appreciate that reminder. And also, yeah, the permission to go under the covers and to ask for that constricted support. And what grounds me is going into the beliefs in my mind, which I love Byron Katie for that. She has such a great 4-step process. That is, what is the belief that's causing the most suffering right now? And then, is it true? Just yes or no. And then, is it absolutely, can I absolutely know that it's true or not true? Yes or no. That really draws a line in the sand of like, is this 100% true? And then it creates space where you can say, how do I feel when I believe that thought? So Nick, that person who was having tornado thoughts, she might be believing something that creates a tornado when she believes that thing. So that's such a powerful question. How do I feel when I believe that thought? Like maybe if I believe the thought, I have nothing, how does that make me feel? Maybe I start spinning or something like that. My common thought is, my common belief that creates suffering is time is running out. So how do I feel when I believe that thought? I experience a lot of spinning and like hectic energy and constriction. And then the next question is, how do I feel when I don't believe that thought? And then it's like, oh, I feel like spacious. And then you invite a new opportunity into the body that maybe wasn't there when you were believing that thought. And then the final part is, how can I turn around that belief so that I can have a different belief that creates less suffering or even hope and possibility and wonder and awe. So it could be, if my belief was time is running out, I have so much time, something like that, just to start reinforcing a new belief. So Byron Katie is one of my favorite people for grounding myself in the beliefs that cause suffering, or we could change them and they can not cause suffering.
And the beautiful thing is all these can work in tandem. This depends on where they're at. If they're severely dysregulated, you get underneath that first with whatever technique. Because when you were describing the breath, Jasmine, I was kind of doing it and I was like, oh, that's like really cool just to ask myself, where do I feel it stuck? Like that's an automatic drop into my body and out of my head. And then moving through that, then I can say, well, yeah, I feel fearful, whatever. And then if they're open enough, you can guide someone with those thought reframes. Well, what's your belief right now? Well, I have nothing. Well, is that true? Is that 100% true? You have nothing. And um, and then it's like I have all the power of choice is the reframe. And these are just little things that can be done in tandem. And I just always recommend regulating someone before attempting to shift them. And that starts with the nervous system. And yeah, I'm kind of really relaxed now after Jasmine's breath work. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back over to you, Margarita, unless anyone has any more questions or comments about this.
I just wanted to share also, I remember when I was in California and we were going through another fire in Northern California, how like literally putting your feet in sand or in dirt, like there's something about that whole carbon dioxide oxygen exchange. I remember I looked around and just immersed myself in deep nature, and it's like they just sucked all my carbon dioxide out of me, and I was like, and let me cry and took it all in, and they're so much wiser than us, like so much bigger and wiser. Like let nature or the bigness of, I mean, have some relief in realizing how small we are, and that's okay, and how big everything else is, and that and there is order even when it doesn't seem like there is.
Yes. Nick, while I still have you, I wanted to ask you, I know that you were helped in a lot of disaster relief funds. What are the top 3 or 5 things that are most important for people to really get grounded on for steps to rehab and stay resilient during this process?
The things that I saw were, FEMA. Like everyone's always going for FEMA first, and just realizing that process could take a while, and so trying not to get trying to think of the word, like the more getting stuck on that thing that you can't control, which is how fast FEMA returns a check or something like that, that might not be as useful as, where can you stay tomorrow or today. But what I was educated on is that the however many days the actual disaster lasts can be equated to the amount of years it takes in full recovery. And why we're doing our work is to try and shorten that time span in people's at least nervous system. But just realizing that the infrastructure, the emotional toll, this is going to change a lot of people's lives. So just being able to flow with that change is big. And yeah, I think biggest thing is take it day by day, because in this immediate part of the disaster, things change like every 3 to 6 hours. It seems like there's new news, there's a new shelter, there's a new resource center. So really plugging in, you can go to like local, like your government county's website to find the resource centers. There'll be maps, there'll be public service announcements, Instagram, for the local counties, like check, and they'll literally talk about distribution sites and where homeless shelters are moving and all those different things as far as information. And then you'll have groups that just pop up, and they'll be like, hey, we'll help you clear your disasters, and there's hot meals for people. So just spreading the word when you hear about it, and then also be mindful if something doesn't seem right, because there are also people that take advantage of people during this time frame that are like, yeah, we're FEMA, and they're really just getting bank account information.
Yeah, and on the longs, thanks for bringing that up, because this is very unfortunate that there are people trying to take advantage. And with that being said, what are things, I know that sometimes for me, it's hard to spark a conversation and call somebody because I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? So is there a way that you can guide on like the best, I don't know, way to approach that? Like maybe is there things that we should ask versus what we shouldn't ask? Like maybe not asking somebody, what did you lose? Like not asking them that, not to get back into the trauma of it. So can you guide us on like how we can really be there powerfully for people who are really who've lost?
Yeah. Well, first give them that choice. Hey, I'd love to call you. Are you open to a phone call? Like just even giving them choice to see if they're open to that, might be supportive. And then when they pick up, kind of open-ended questions is usually, how are you doing? How can I support you? And then I think we learned in HCL leadership, like using the word support versus help you is already a change in language of like, you're not helpless. I'm just here as an extra arm if you need it. And then I would say when they say labels and mirrors, I feel this sucks. Yeah, that does suck. Like just kind of repeating it back, like that does suck. A validation. And then every time they mention something that is good, reinforce that. Like my family, I texted someone that lost a home. Let me see what I texted her. And they may not reply. That's okay. I would say like relieve yourself of any codependence of like, I need to save them too. She said, our home burned down in our entire community, but I'm grateful that I got my son and the dog out. And I said, I'm so happy you're alive. And I'm sorry to hear all that can't be easy either. And I said, where are you staying? Just to kind of like, again, that's my main question is always like to reinforce a resource. She said she's staying with a cousin. And I'm like, I'm so happy you have your family to support you. Like just kind of reminding them of like this thing that they have when they think there's nothing, they have something. So validate and then reinforce any positive place you can without being so overt about it. Like, don't go in there and say, tell me 3 things you're grateful for. That's going to piss somebody off. And then now that we have some nervous system tools, like, hey, would you breathe with me? Or would you just shake it off? Like, are you willing to do that? Are you open to that? This is my work. I mean, Margarita, your work, Jasmine, your work. Like, you guys have this background too. We're like, hey, I just love. Like, would you do this with me? I just would love to support you in this way, based on things I know.
Also, to add to that is look for ways that they're being so resilient and so empowered. Like point out, like be a heat-seeking missile to find the things that they're doing that is so empowering to remind them that they are so great at thriving. They are so great at being empowered.
Yeah.
I remember that really being like when I was talking to the hurricane. I'm seeing a bald eagle fly by. When I was talking to hurricane survivor thrivers, it was just really looking for all the ways that, wow, you're so resilient. And it gives them, because there's this path of after a disaster where they have like this down cycle. Well, first it's like a little bit up, they're in that hero stage like Nick was talking about, and then it really dips down. So if you can stop that dip down by being like, oh, you're so empowered, so that they're not writing stories of disempowerment in real time, and you can kind of stop that decline right there and just rewrite their story with them to show how incredible they're doing. And maybe even ask them to teach you, not teach per se, but just to emphasize and iterate how they're doing that.
Yeah, one thing that would show up is like if someone was they're like, yeah, I've been checking on people. Someone would say, I've been checking on everyone in this mobile home park. I'd be like, wow, you're a real leader in this community. Like just something, it seems so simple. Kind of like be a good human and only see the possibilities in this person. And I think Jasmine and Margarita, I don't know if I can't remember if you said you've coached, but Lisa would say like be the space for their already existing transformation. So you're not changing them. You're a heat-seeking missile for everything that's great about them. Their leadership. Oh, you already filled out your FEMA thing? Look at you. You're on top of things. And you're anchoring something else. I'm on top of things.
That's so inspiring. And it's also a reminder to only spread positivity and light in the world. Like when you're hearing people posting political and making it all about all of that conspiracy or whatever, don't spread it. Don't even put energy on it. Right now is a time to come together in light. We're all hurting. It's not just this fire, it's been constant for a long time. Um, and so thank you so much for your beautiful wisdom, Nick, and for being here and really sharing your heart and your training. I know it's really going to benefit. I've been taking so many notes, by the way. Like I have 2 pages full of notes of all the beautiful things that you shared. And it's interesting how there were 3 of us, and even Jasmine, who shared her breathing, how it all really is the power of your mind, right? And it's things that actually work, that we have experience using them hands on, and they work. And I only invite you to get curious, to try them out. Just get curious. If you've never tried them out, if it looks too easy to be true, just try it out, because sometimes things are too easy to be, sometimes they are too good to be true, and they are true. And so if there's anything else, Nick, that you wanted to leave us off with, I would say thank you again. Well, good. All right. And Jasmine, I wanted to point out that you also just came from the Lahaina fire, and you've had a few years now, I forget how long ago it was, to kind of rise from that. Do you have any advice, any tidbits, or anything that you see in your community come together and that could really support us in this moment?
Um,
I'll say, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss, and
mhm.
you were my hero, because you were stepping in, willing to give away your car and your home and anything that you could, just to help the people who've lost things in your community. So that's commendable, and so thank you.
Yeah. Um, especially because of what Hawaii is. And that for us it was like the capital of what was a kingdom. I mean, that was very hard. So for us, the most sacred thing was to bring ceremony back in. So every breath was gratitude and anchoring back into the land that is going to be here long after us and was here long before us. And that we get to stay here. We don't have rights to this place. We get to stay here. And we are stewards of the land. It helped us go from entitled to servant. And thank you. Thank you for letting us be here. That's, I think, the bigger thing. And awareness, the bigger awareness, the wisdom, which is wild, 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 is that this was so called like like 100-year cycle. They were like, it's the 100-year storm, the Hawaii thing, and I heard that same wisdom for North Carolina, and we're still in this thing. Somebody said something happened with LA 100 years ago, so like there are all these bigger clocks, and the whole thing, like counting your blessings, and we were singing song, we were dancing hula, we were like, get back in your body, get back in your body, get back in, because fear and terror will run you out of the only spaces you got. Why lose that too? Right.
What I heard you say that was so powerful for me was being stewards of the earth again, and paying respect that we are here in borrowed time, that we are here because she has provided us with all the things that we need to live and to survive, and to see some places of entitlement, like you said, overrun and forget why we're here and what our bigger purpose is. It's in moments like this that really do shine that light on humanity, on what really matters, which is connection. Is there anybody else here in the room that would like to share some words, something that's in your heart that you want to just share, and have this space where you are free and held in love and light? Any words of wisdom or support that you'd like to extend to your fellow brothers and sisters in the world? Okay, I'm going to take 2 more minutes to just also sit in silence and do our own personal prayers after everything that Nick and the rest of us here in the room have shared, and the heart opening that Cynthia gave us this morning also. Just to sit and open our hearts and ask the question, like, how can you show up more for yourself and for others in this time? What is it that your community needs? What is it that you need? Sometimes we forget to even ask ourselves what we need. What do we need in this moment? And I often have been asking for hugs. Hugs are healing for me, and it's what Nick said. It's just that pressure of putting and relaxing your nervous system. Now I know why hugs are so healing. Spend 20 seconds and hugging. 20 seconds also helps to release those endorphins, the love, feel good energy. So let's just sit and be in gratitude. Like I know I'm going to be in silence in a minute, but as I sit here and I am grateful for my blessings, for the wind shifting, the evacuation warning got as close as 5 miles from my home. The wind shifted, and it feels very selfish to say I feel blessed, because so much of my city and so many of my friends are displaced right now. And this is not a time to feel selfish or feel anything. It's just to feel gratitude, because in the space of gratitude really helps to expand gratitude for others and gratitude for space and for more gratitude and more blessings to come our way. So with that, just 1 minute of silence for those who are struggling in the world. Thank you. I strongly believe that when more than 2 or more people come together in prayer, that it really does amplify the energies. So if you can't come to the Zoom room, even if you just between the hours of 10 and 12 spend in silence and in prayer and in meditation, that would really to help increase our intention here. Gather your community together, your family together, and at dinner pray, send some healing to all of us. It really does help. Every single prayer does help lift our energy and our vibration. It really does matter. I think I just want, before the end of this, I just want to remind everybody that this is going to be 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, from 10 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. I am slowly but surely booking individuals like Nick and Cynthia and anyone else who's interested in actually facilitating 30 minutes to an hour to come in and just really give a space for us to show how we are resilient and show our strength. And if we don't know how to do that, we are given tools and techniques that are really going to help move us in towards the light in this darkest of times. And remind that you're not alone. We're here. We're here, and we're stronger together. And together we will rise from these ashes. And another thing that I do too is called emotional freedom tapping. And that really helps to kind of reprogram your central nervous system. So if you if you're open to it, I'd like for you to join me on a quick EFT tapping on I think overwhelm would be one that comes up a lot, right? Feeling the overwhelm can really cloud our thinking. So even though we did the hands for that, this is one way to really kind of reprogram it so that when you are in moment that can bring overwhelm, you are already quickly, because you reprogram your central nervous system, won't get to the extreme of the overwhelm. Like you'll really start to reprogram it to where you quickly are able to snap out of it, even without having to do the energies and holding. The more that you do things, the more it compounds on top of itself, and the quicker the energies get habitualized into normalcy. So with that, we're going to hit what we call the karate chop, and we do an opening statement. Even though I feel overwhelmed, you can repeat after me out loud or in your mind, I completely love and accept myself. Even though my mind is clouded by overwhelm, I love and accept myself. Even though this overwhelm can seem overwhelming, I fully, completely love, appreciate myself. Now the eyebrow point. I feel so overwhelmed. Side of the eye. This feeling feels like fear. Under the eye. It's hard to breathe sometimes. Under the nose. This overwhelm stops me in my tracks. Under the mouth, on the chin. I feel useless. Under the collarbone. This overwhelming feeling takes me over. Under the arm, on the ribs. I can't even think of what I'm supposed to do through the overwhelm. On top of the head. It is too much to handle. Now we're going to do positive affirmations to replace these negative thoughts. I am resilient. Side of the eye. I can take a breath and refocus. Under the eye. I can take one step at a time. Under the nose. This is all for me. Under the chin. I can do anything I set my mind to. Collarbone. I am calm and relaxed. Under the arm. I am at peace and I am whole. Top of the head. And I am safe where I am. And we take one deep breath in and out. Usually EFT takes a little longer. It takes a little 3 or 4 routines for you to do the like getting out the feeling first and then doing the positive affirmations in. But for time sake, I just wanted to do a short version. You can play this on repeat, do it over and over again. And you'll finally start to feel yourself calming down. And as you're saying these, when I first started doing EFT, I would literally do it in the moments of panic or frustration, or if I would get in a fight with my partner. All the things that happen that you say to yourself when you're like crying or frustrated, all those things are in your mind already. You don't even have to have a script. Because a lot of times people are like, I don't have a script. I don't know how to do EFT. It's like, just tap those points while you're feeling and going through the motions. And as I do that, and I'm sitting there crying, you know, because I had the woe is me, I'm not good enough, and what did I do wrong feelings, as I'm tapping those things and those points, all of a sudden my mind starts to clear and I'm able to think, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I know what to say now. I know how to calm myself down. I know what I'm thinking. And it just really still starts to help me think more clearly. And I'm able to formulate my thoughts, and I'm able to have a conversation that is empowering and is loving and not pointing fingers or blaming and shaming myself or others. So I really hope what you heard here today helps support you. Please spread the word, share your link, share the information, invite your friends if they want to come and facilitate a healing or a prayer. Please have them reach out to me. Today being the first day, I think for the rest of the 30 minutes, we're just going to sit in silence and in prayer. If nobody else has anything to chime in and share, I think that's what we're going to do, just because at this moment, I'm just full of love and gratitude for everybody showing up today and being here and holding space. It's a reminder of when you really have the intention, people and things move and align for you to make it happen and to make your vision come into place. And so this is a true testament of when you really are in generous love and generosity, people show up for you and for others. So thank you for showing up for not just me, but for yourself and for the community. And as you go about, just remember, check in on people that you know might live here, or even if you don't know anybody who lives there, just check on the people that you love that are come into your heart. They come into your heart and your mind for a reason. They are energetically reaching out for help. And if you happen to hear their call them. Say hello. Tell them you're thinking of them. Tell them what they matter, why they matter to you. It's so easy to think like, what is me calling them going to do? Like, oh my God, you know how many times I've actually listened to my heart and I've left messages for people and they say, you couldn't have called me at a more perfect time. I really needed to hear your voice. I haven't heard from you in whatever long, but it was perfect. Thank you so much. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your love is and your light is. So next time somebody comes to your mind or heart, send them a note, call them. It's for a reason. Don't take for granted the blessings of these friendships, the blessings of the people that are in your life. They're here for us. So with that, thank you so much. Let me just put you guys all on gallery view. Maybe we can do a heart for everybody. We're here. Frankie, I know you just jumped on. Did you want to share anything that's in your heart?
No, I'm sorry I lost track of time, but I'll definitely check out the recording. But yeah, it's just been obviously very hectic, and I think all we can really do is show up for each other and just pray that the winds calm and we get rain and our government and gets everything in order for us to have just everything settles. And yeah, all we can do is rebuild the land here. So yeah, thank you for hosting this so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's very powerful when everyone comes together.
Indeed. Thank you again so much for being here, and for sharing your love. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Anyone you know who just needs a space to come in, just to get filled up with love, please invite them. So thank you again for being here. And remember to only spread love and light in the world. It matters and it can uplift a person. Mary?
Just want to say thank you, Margarita.
Thank you, Mary.
Be well, everyone.
See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for holding this beautiful this light grid, Margarita, and everyone here. Jasmine, thank you for sharing the wisdom of what happened in Lahaina. That was really powerful. And the fact that we are stewards and servants and not entitled is such a powerful reminder. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for everything that you shared, for the exercises and for being here. Thank you for your words.
And I just wanted to share also just literally the container. Before anything was said, I was like, oh, I get to hop in this bubble. I'm so grateful for this. Thank you for creating a just powerful intention, and the intention behind it preceded us.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. Go, buddy, go. Love you.
Wait, now you're gonna make me cry.
It's okay to cry. I know. It's awful. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
We're gonna be fine, right?
Yeah.
Come back through this stronger, more
Yeah.
wise.
Who we truly are is beyond our body. Yes.
Margaret, I want to share something that I realized today. Because I'm doing a PhD thesis on abundance, and today I had such a huge shift. And I think that we think that abundance is having a lot of things. And I realized today that abundance is drawing back our energy from all the things back to our divine assignment and our divine connection. And that is what abundance is. And I really I got to experience, I know it's easy said, but I got to experience that when our hurricanes came through in Florida, because Frankie and whoever joined on later, like, I live in town that Hurricane Milton was like direct path to, and it was a very sensationalized experience. And I live right by the beach, and I was like, all my art of 30 years, there it goes. Like, that's that then. And I got to make peace with that. And the process of making peace with that had me draw back my energy from all of those things back to myself, to remember I'm the creator of all of it. I created it. And that was abundance. And I felt powerful, clear, focused, stable. And it's really the exact opposite of what we think abundance is. It's such an extraordinary breakthrough that I've had in the last couple of days about that.
Man,
Beautiful. You get to live your thesis now, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frankie, what were you saying?
oh, I mean, that's just like incredibly hard to go through, but it's a very interesting breakthrough too as well. And it sounds like very gratifying too, in a way where you can just recreate everything or something in a brand new light for yourself. And that is, you're teaching me something already. So yeah, thank you for
that visual of a tea bag, right? Like, the tea bag is the potent concentrated concentration. And then when you put it in water, it creates that essence in the water, but the tea bag itself is that concentrated force. So it's bringing back my remembrance to my concentrated center alignment. I know, Margarita, you're really tapped into that. And that's what, yeah, that's what my highest form of abundance is, knowing that I can create anything. I can go from survival to creation at any moment. So
Yeah. It's
And-
very symbolic too with the, the fires, and it's as devastating as it is, but it's a natural recurring role that plays in the ecosystem. So it is a time to rebuild for sure. And yeah.
Frankie, is there anyone you know, or are you affected by the fires, or anyone you know?
Not directly, just I'm kind of in the middle of, I'm in a like a high warning area. But yeah, no one close to me, but I definitely see it a lot all online, and yeah, I just can't.
Praying you and your community stay safe and away from the fires. Sending that prayer today, right now, for
Thank
these
you.
fires to be contained. I think that, yeah, maybe we'll leave this prayer here. It's like, God and elementals, I ask that you calm the fury, that you show us grace, bring in some wind, moisture, calm the winds, bring hope and light. Do as you can to allow us to move forward in this time of need when we feel alone and scared. Help us see the beauty and the abundance and the blessings in the world, so we stay and keep and remain our hearts open, full of love, so that we can move forward. Maybe we be there for those in need. May we find the words of solace and words of comfort for those in need. And I ask you to continue watching over us, keeping us safe, continuing to watch over us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 Love to you all. Thank you so very much for being here together. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Jasmine. Bye, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Becky, Sonia, Dylan.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thanks for holding space even after I came in late. So I really appreciate it.
You
Have a
weren't
good-
late. You were right on time, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.